my name is Akiva Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law matters, so please subscribe to our channel. What does one expect when they start a divorce case? Well, you have to understand the dynamic. A complaint for divorce has to be filed with the clerk of the county, where presumably one of the parties resides. The clerk of the court will then randomly assign the case to a family court judge who will issue a summons. A summons is an order to take action. Once the court signs the summons, it's then packaged back with the complaint and sent back to the attorneys for service. And by service, I mean we got to get him the papers somehow, either by the assistance of a bailiff or a court officer, or by some means we got to get the other side those papers in a way authorized by the court rules. When they get them in the state of Michigan, they have a certain amount of time within which to file an answer, typically 21 days, and that's the time when they will usually go to their lawyer and say, look, I got these papers, what do I do with them? And then that law firm will in turn file an appropriate answer with the court. Once the complaint is filed and the answer is put in, then the court establishes the life cycle of the case. What does that mean? Well, really what it means is the court has to determine what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. So the court will set up a schedule of events. The schedule of events is longer when there are children versus when there aren't. When there are children, the court tends to set up the life cycle of the case for a minimum of period of 6 months, because there's a waiting period of 6 months for cases that involve children. So the court's going to span out the case and all things that have to be done within a minimum of 6 months during that time. The court will set up, pre-trial conferences. There might be what's called an EIC, an early intervention conference. A friend of the court, things may come up and all that, and the life cycle of that case will be that minimum of 6 months. If there are no children, the court does the same analysis, but there is no friend of the court, so the life cycle of the case tends to be 60 days. Does that mean your case will be done in 60 days? No, it does not. What it means is the minimum amount of time that case will take will be 60 days. Now, it could be completed in 60 days, but that's a very optimistic timetable for most divorce cases, because even if there are no children, there are property issues, there's debt resolution, there are pensions, there are 401ks. There are some things that have to be resolved that will typically consume more than 60 days. But that's generally what you're looking for in a divorce. If it's a custody case, it's the same thing, except you may not have issues regarding splitting up a property, because that's more of a divorce thing. But it'll still take time to resolve issues regarding the children, which means that case is going to take many months for it to cycle through until the court can make appropriate determinations about what's in the best interest of those children and who should have that custody. If you've got any questions about that, reach out and we'll be glad to help you out.